Hey there, everybody. Good to see everyone. I am um, just very excited. My name is Dr. Joy, and I am here this evening in a commitment to myself to post to my YouTube channel for 40 days and 40 nights as part of a discipline for myself. So this channel is very relatively new. As of last I checked, I only have 12 subscribers. I love the scripture that says, despise not small beginnings. I am very happy to welcome you to a space where strong women can find a little bit of information, a little camaraderie. And when I say strong women, that's because they've been through some things. That's because they've survived some things. They are potentially, as I am, women of a certain age. Let's just be honest. Today I committed to doing a Facebook Live, which was challenging for me to say the least, but I was able to get through it. And I talked about some topics that I really want to just briefly go through during that time on Facebook. I want to talk about three areas. I want to talk about entrepreneurship. I want to talk about self-care. And to get to those places, we got to start with mind shift. If you've been watching any of my posts lately, or rather, is it a post? Oh, if you've been watching me recently, during this 40 days and 40 nights, I am talking about a mind shift. I have to do it. So I'm not suggesting that anybody that's watching do anything that I myself don't need to do. I have to be reminded that I have 23 years working for one employer. That doesn't mean I've only worked 23 years, but this one for the last 23 years, I have employee mentality, and I am pushing and pulling and tugging and scratching and fighting to get away from it because that's not even my origins. That's not my beginnings. My beginnings is that of entrepreneurship. My entire life, I am familiar with the strong women and men around me being entrepreneurs. And I remember probably, I would say, about 5 years into working for my current employer, I was thinking about, you know, how it was changing me. And I was able to recognize it even then. And at this point, it's pretty ingrained. So for me, this 40 days and 40 nights is literally preparing me to move forward. I have to think differently. I have to challenge myself. I have to do things that are not comfortable. There's no options. There's no, well, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Well, maybe I'll do it. No. I have to reach out to people every day. I have to follow up every day. I have to make plans for how I'm using my time every day. These 40 days and 40 nights, guys, it's serious. It's serious for me. And so before I go any further, I'm gonna check um my day, and my topic for today is small steps lead to big wins. Small steps. So this commitment is something that I can do. It's not costing me anything. It's not taking an enormous amount of my time. It's something that I can do. It's small, but as I build day by day, I am getting stronger. I am becoming more confident. I am shifting my mind, which is my goal. My goal for this time is to think differently, to be able to approach things differently. And with that in mind, I'm going to read, and please, y'all, excuse me, and I probably will interject on some things, but I'm going to try to get through this list relatively quickly. But we're going to talk about three things rather. We're going to talk about a mind shift. We're going to talk about being an entrepreneur, and we're going to talk about self-care, just some basic talking points. We're not going to go into everything, but for later discussion, I will probably revisit a few of these areas because I feel like they're important. So bear with me. Again, thank you for watching. This is Dr. Joy, and we're going over a few things that I think are beneficial. I think that what I do and what I love to do is to help, but for me to help, I have to be better. I have to be stronger. I have to know where I'm weak, and I have to build that up, and I have to keep the strong areas strong, right? Okay. So right now, I'm going to go over these things with mind shifts. I'm just going to go through them real quick. So the first point is the power of perspective. So we know that how we approach things, how we think of things, molds us. So what I'm suggesting in this place is to make sure that you put yourself in the position to grow. Don't leave yourself in a position to stay and remain stagnant. Don't do that. That's how I kind of feel at work. I feel so stuck. And that's one of the reasons that I have stepped out in having my own home-based business. That's part of the reason, is because when I'm working for myself, I'm not stuck. I can think, I can grow, I can thrive. And then I go back to work and have the energy sucked out of me. And then I got to get remotivated. So that's probably a YouTube day of its own. Overcoming fear and self-doubt. We all know that fear can cripple us. We all know that those voices in our head are not beneficial when it says that you can't, because you can. The next area is the abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset. I want my mind to think abundance. I want, by the time this 40/40 is over, I want to think of things to grow that I have not even ever considered. That's my expectation. Taking ownership of your success. No one is coming to save you. You are responsible. You are the pilot. If you want to move, chart out the course and get there. Embracing failure as a lesson. I just talked to one of my coaches a few minutes ago, and I told her, I said I had some things going on that were not within the last few days, that were not as successful as I would have liked. But guess what? I know what not to do next time. I know how to prepare myself and be more successful next time. So for me, lesson learned. When we think about the next area that I'm talking about, which is entrepreneurship in itself, one of those things that we talked about, that mind shift, scarcity, I feel like scarcity is very related to employment for another person, because there's only so much that you're going to be able to advance to. What do you think? Leave a comment in the chat if you agree or disagree. Tell me why. So I'm going to talk about the entrepreneurial mindset. It's totally different. I remember Man, it's been a long time, but I remember having to wait for the delivery person for my aunt's store. She had a corner store in the south suburbs of Chicago, and she was a school teacher. And I remember the hostess man coming, and we all wanted the hostess man and the Jay's potato chip man to come. We wanted to be there that day because they would always give us something extra. Not that we didn't get it free anyway, but it was different when the hostess man gave it to you. But just thinking about that, I was responsible. I remember learning to count change. Oh goodness, at 5, 6 years old, standing on the stool, couldn't even see over the counter, but I had to stand on that stool, and Auntie made me count out loud and made sure that I was giving people the appropriate change back. You have to have the mindset that is yours. So you have to work at it. You have to solve problems when you're an entrepreneur and you have an entrepreneurial mindset. Problem solving is over half the battle for me, I think. When you're presenting something to someone, what problem is it solving? You For me, this next one is a no-brainer. It's passion over profits. I don't want to say that money is not important because that doesn't make any sense. We need money to live. But I have to be doing something that I'm passionate about, that I care about, that that makes me happy in ways that money just can't. So, especially when you're working for yourself, you have to have that passion. That passion is going to drive you. It's going to move you and motivate you. Um, as an entrepreneur, you got to be ready to sometimes not just take steps. You got to sometimes just jump. You got to take that leap of faith. Okay. The next thing is building a strong foundation. Part of what I said a little bit ago, and my passion is you got to have a why. You have to know what your why is. Why are you working this many hours a day, humping and grinding? Why are you doing that? Do you know your why? If you know your why, put a yes in the chat for me. I I I definitely am learning that your why can change. I honestly wasn't aware of that not too long ago. I thought it always had to be the same thing. But your why can evolve. You can add to it, you can tweak it. Um, but knowing your why helps build a strong foundation. So the next thing is branding yourself. I am literally in the process of rebranding myself. I have a couple of businesses. I think probably 4. um, maybe 5. Anyway, I'm trying to find a way to bring it all together because they're all related in some way. So they may not seem related in some way, but they're all helping. So in that way, they're all related. So I'm changing, I'm upgrading my brand, I'm doing something different. This 40/40 is kind of like my stepping stone. Like, can you do this 40 days and 40 nights? Can you be committed to this for this time? Because rebranding is going to take commitment, right? Yeah. Um, everybody, if you are living in this current economic climate, you should be aware of the importance of multiple streams of income. It just makes sense. Yes, I make a good salary. I do. And yes, I still have other streams. It just makes sense. It's even within my 9 to 5 job, I have opted to put more money in for my retirement. So some of the money out of my regular paycheck goes to my retirement. I need some investments. Again, it just makes sense. I talked about this earlier when I did my Facebook Live, but networking and collaboration this weekend was awesome for me. I was able to network and collaborate with some wonderful business partners who are moving and shaking and growing, and I am gleaning from, and I am so grateful for that time. The next area is the power of investing in yourself. Again, as an entrepreneur, you have to prioritize making you better, me making me better. Wow. This one is talking directly to me, like screaming off the page. It says managing time and avoiding burnout. That one's for me. I have a very good friend who's known me and has been like a brother to me since I think about 6th grade. So we've known each other for a long time, still close, love in my heart for this person. But I remember when I was in school and it was getting close to graduation time, and he said, "So now what you gonna do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm not gonna do anything. Oh my goodness, it's too much. They're trying to kill me." All kind of, he says, Joy, I've known you long enough to know that you're gonna be doing something. You might take a couple of weeks off, maybe, but then you'll be doing something else." And sure enough, he was right. So sometimes even I overload myself. So setting a boundary and knowing when to say no and knowing what my limits are is something that starting tonight, I'm going to be working on. And I'm going to work on and I'm going to get better with it. And I'm going to be able to say more clearly what I can and what I cannot do. It's important because burnout is real. We're going to talk about self-care next, but that's part of not being burnt out, is making sure you're caring for yourself. I talked to a coworker today. I hadn't seen her in a while, and our building has like multiple areas in it. And I happened to be walking past her, and I said, "Hey, haven't seen you in a long time. How you doing?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm okay." I said, "Last time I saw you, you were limping. Something was going on with your foot or your leg or something. Is that okay?" And she said, "Yeah, but I know, it's better, but I know what it is. I haven't been taking care of myself. I haven't been drinking water like I should. I haven't exercised the way I haven't been eating right, all those things." And we're there talking to each other. And I'm saying tonight, that's us, that's me, have to do better because I'm important. We literally had this conversation in the hallway today. We're worth taking care of. We only have one body. And so I'm moving on to the self-care area. And I know this is probably the longest video I've done so far, but I have paper. So the first area says self-care is not selfish. I hope you can hear me. My heat is coming on. Self-care is not selfish. It's essential. You can't pour from an empty cup. How many times have you heard that? Can't do it. You have to do things that are going to benefit you in multiple areas. So, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, socially, spiritually. You have to do things that are going to increase that. And when I say you have to, of course you don't have to, but is it beneficial? Yes, it is. So, I talked about this with the last area. Those boundaries are essential. Even to take care of yourself, you have to set boundaries. Um, you can do things daily. Don't feel like, you can take care of yourself once a month and that's enough. It might be something as simple as taking the time. For me, I have really bad eczema. Taking the time to do the full routine. Because what I'll do is I'll do half of it and try to rush to do something else. I gotta slow down. And I gotta do my full routine for my exit because I deserve it. It's good for me. Makes me feel better, makes me look better. Um, Managing stress, avoiding burnout. Again, some of these things cross right over from one thing to the next. It is very important to manage stress. Um, the next one is, I love this one, the power, POWER, of travel and new experiences. So I want to say this. We may not all be able to go to Bora Bora tomorrow. Hawaii may not be on the stop for next week, but you can take a trip to the next state over. You can take a car trip. You can, um, check into a hotel over the weekend and give yourself some time to be with yourself and relax and decompress. You can do that. Okay. So, traveling isn't always someplace really far away. It might just be what you need to get away. Take a spa day. Take a half a day from work if you can. Don't get anybody in trouble. But take some time and take care of yourself. Okay. Now, of course, I'm all for taking those trips someplace wonderful, but if you can't get far, don't let that stop you from going somewhere. Okay. Surround yourself with positivity. Hmm. Spend a lot of time at work in my office with the door closed because I don't want negativity. Not that it's everywhere, because there are some really wonderful coworkers, but I can't interact with that on a long term basis. So I just do what I have to do, go back in my office and close the door. With my family, you call me with an issue, I'm gonna tell you, talk to Jesus. It'll be all right. If I can help you, I will. But if it becomes too much for me, I gotta let it go. I start with Jesus in the first place. I don't have all the answers. Um, Sometimes it is important, and this again is talking directly to myself, to slow down with um the scrolling. Slow that scrolling down. If it's again beneficial, and what does beneficial mean? Something that's gonna make you some money, that's beneficial. But don't just aimlessly scroll to see what else you can spend more money on instead of making money. Does that make sense? I hope so. Um, the last point that I have for tonight is that self care is a way of life. It's not just like a one-time event. And that is, again, I'm talking so much to myself because, um, there was a time when I knew I have to go get a massage at least this many times. Why? Because I had a lot going on and I needed that, um, that particular way for me to take care of myself. Well, I haven't done it in so long. Until Sunday, I did have like a 5 minute massage, chair massage, and it was awesome. And it definitely took me back to Joy, you need this. Prioritize yourself. Prioritize taking care of yourself. Prioritize getting some of that stress out of your shoulders. She was like, oh, it's really tight in your neck and your shoulders. And I'm going, yeah, I know. I hope you guys can hear me again. I'm sitting up here where the heat is loud. I'm in a different place today in the house. So I do appreciate everybody who has listened to me go on and on. But those were some areas that were on my heart for today. I do hope that they gave you something to think about, reminded you of something. Please give me a like, subscribe, or share, or all three. And I will see you next time. Everybody take care of yourself.